Hello everybody, the Destroyer here, and welcome back to another cast of the Rise of the Witch King, patch 2.02, version 5.0.1. Today we have a 2v2v2 on Amon Amarth, which are few and far between these kind of games, but they are fun to cast and fun to watch nonetheless when they do happen. So let's see who we got in this game. We got Black Mamba, I guess that's Black Mamba, that would make sense, as Goblins there. And his partner for this game is kYGo, as the Dwarves. So that's the first team, and the next team is Belsebub, is Angmar. And then we have his partner J2 Shots, is Isengard. And the final team, Kamul, as the Men of the West. And then we have C12 D13 as Mordor as his partner. So yeah. This team here against this team here against this team here. Of course, this map perfectly suited for that kind of gameplay. As you see, split up evenly, 3 sections. It's a nice map. I do like it. So let's see what the Goblin player here is doing. Black Mamba. He's going for a Goblin Cave, getting some Goblin Warriors out immediately. You could send him to try. Well, you can't. There's cave trolls guarding the inn, so it's kind of hard to capture early game, especially for Goblins. Goblins wouldn't be able to do that. Looks like his partner kYGo is going for a Hall of Warriors back here. Very far away from his fortress, surprisingly enough. That might be a mistake, I would say. You probably don't want to put your building so far away. I mean, it is on the defending side of the mine shaft at least, so. But the fortress won't be able to help either of these buildings defend itself. So that is something to keep in mind when you place your buildings. This C is more reasonable, in my opinion, because it's defended by the fort. So we have Belsebub coming with some Gundabad warriors being placed by J2 Shots for some reason, showing a mill. He's placing a mill in the middle of this camp. That's kind of interesting. Also very close to J2 Shots base. Looks like J2 Shot is going for Wildman of Dunland from his clan steading there, which is a pretty typical Isengard start. Most players in Rise of the Witch King 2.02 do not go for the Uruk Pit start. It's not a bad start, but Wildman is definitely cheaper and more spammable, so it's a more preferred thing. Wildman and crossbows generally is a good thing. And for Kamul, we got a couple battalions of Gondor soldiers looking to defend his farms here. Looks like he's going for some quick Rohan spearmen as well, possibly to get rid of this cave troll. Not a bad call, I would say. And then we have, of course, his partner C12 D13 with some orc spam. He does have goblins on his base. Looks like they've thrown down some war chant on his stuff and begin harassing his slaughterhouse. So the early game defense begins. C12 getting 2 battalions of goblin archers, or not goblin, orc archers. They should defend against those goblins fairly well, as they do. Meanwhile, he's pushing him with some orcs, although he's come to a stop, I guess, because he's busy elsewhere. It's like Belsebub is in here as well with his Gundabad warriors. And the Dwarves, of course, won't be able to catch him on foot. These phalanxes have no chance of catching these Gundabad orcs. He is going for Axors. That's the name of that unit. Belsebub getting a nice surround on this mine shaft here. He should be able to take that out, actually. Although his Thrallmaster is in bad position. You see Belsebub trying to reposition his Thrallmaster so he's not in the front. Good play there. Because if he gets killed, of course, the whole battalion dies, which is not ideal. We have some Gondor archers out for Kamul here to help with the defense. So we have plenty of archers on this side of the field, and he's going to need them to stop the goblin spam. Goblin spam can be one of the most difficult things to stop. And we have crossbows here for J2 Shot, claiming this outpost after, I'm assuming, these Rohan spearmen destroyed it. Destroyed the troll. Lots of Gundabad orcs flooding in from Belsebub here into kYGo's base. kYGo has a fairly sizable army, but they're all split up here, which is not ideal for him. He should really group his army and try to have one big defense against that orc spam, or else he might have some issues. Looks like some orcs cleaned up here by his goblins. And it looks We have 4 Goblin Caves for Black Mamba. So he'll easily be able to keep up the Goblin spam. I'd say as Goblins you generally want like 4 to even 6 caves. If you feel you can run it. That's what I tend to do. Just go for as many caves as I can muster and then start throwing in spider pits and fissures and whatnot when you need them. Generally you will need a spider pit fairly quickly because they will counter you. Most teams will counter you with cavalry, which you'll need the spiderlings of course to help deal with that. But anyway, we have lots of teams clashing here. We have Goblins, we have Angmar, we have Dwarves. Well, I guess it's only 3, but 2 of them are on the team, of course, Goblins and the Dwarves. Goblin team, Black Mamba coming to his aid of his ally here. He does have an army in his area, though. It looks like C12 is pushing in with his Mordor orcs, looking to do some damage. It looks like he put a tunnel in this. Apparently this is a favored spot in these little circles here. We have a big attack up here, it looks like, from the Men of the West. Player Kamul against the Isengard player J2 Shots. He does manage to take a furnace there. He might get this one as well. Actually, his partner's going to get this one. C12 doing a multi-pronged attack and even defending the base because he has so many orcs. So he's attacking here, and defending here. Very nice. Very nice indeed. The Isengard player might have some issues here. There's a lot of Gondor archers here, which will take out a lot of his troops fairly quickly. If Belsebub doesn't come to his aid, he might fall. So Belsebub might want to hold off his attack on the southern player. Perhaps go help his ally. Maybe not. I guess we'll see how that pans out. While his base isn't directly under threat, I guess. Everything on the outskirts is. So this furnace, of course, and any of these lumber or mills and whatnot. Not a lumber mill. Looks like that tunnel was cleaned up there by these orcs. Goblins should be able to clean that rest of those guys up, though. Meanwhile, he is pushing in. So Black Mamba has his war chant down on his guys. Let's take a look at powers here. Oh, we have Roger Lancers from C12D13 there. Good counter unit to the Goblin spam. Assuming he doesn't have them giant clumps of them. Alright, well, let's leave it on here while I talk here. Belsebub, Angmar player, has a Fell Wind, War Chant, 3 power points, and 500 of 600 command points. Kamul, the Men of the West player over here, 284 of 475. He's got the Summon Hobbits, and he's got Rally Call. Black Mamba, the player down here, Goblin player, has a Rally... That's not really okay. War Chant, 10 power points basically. 366 of 500. What's he gonna go for? He's gone for Scavenger. The Mordor player at C12 has got himself the Eye of Sauron, 9 power points, 277 to 375. His economy is doing very poorly. 375 is not very high in comparison to everyone else, at least. Or in general, I guess. Well, we got a Prince Brand out from kYGo, the Dwarf player, who I'm observing at the moment. He has Heal, he has Rally Call, 2 power points, and 279 of 525. His Prince Brand might want to get out of there. Otherwise, he will be killed off by orcs. Oh no. Does he have a heal? Did he use it? He did use his heal, so his Prince Brand is going to die. He can't outrun those orcs. That is unfortunate. That's a big loss for him. And of course, Isengard player. J2 Shots has himself Vision of the Palantir, Creebane, 5 power points, and 169, 575. So that's everybody for now. Take a look at that maybe later in game, but most of the powers we'll see used, of course. So the mill's taken out there. Goblins pushing in on Belsebub now. War Chant being thrown down on them. Belsebub's in a bit of trouble here, I'd say. He has a lot of Gundabad orcs, but the goblins are going to prove a bit of a problem, for now at least. But he should be able to defend himself, I think. It's not too bad in the way of the goblins. And we have a Gundabad orc summon for Belsebub. That should help clean up most of those goblin warriors. We have Athelian Rangers out for Kamul. Very good archers, of course. That should help out. Of course, once they level to level 2, they can have the long shot ability. Oh, he's got 2 battalions of them, actually. It looks like Isengard is hanging on here, so J2 Shot not giving up easily. The ring being claimed by C12. That'd be interesting if we can get a Sauron. I highly doubt it. But if there is one team that could do it without, while building armies while saving up, it is Mordor, since they're, or Goblins rather. Goblins probably the best team, of course, because they have Scavenger and their units are cheap. Forward mine taken out there. Belsebub. Looks like the Dwarves still have the outpost though. Belsebub should probably claim that when he has a chance. Of course he has to get rid of the Dwarven filth first. But yeah, like I was saying, Mordor has cheap orcs, so he could save up for Sauron, but it wouldn't be easy. And of course his partner, if he's doing well, could funnel him money to do so as well. I've had a lot of games where my partner and I would funnel each other money, depending on who had the ring. Partner or partners, and then rush the ring hero. It is a viable tactic, and it does sometimes turn out for the best. Sometimes not, because all that money used could be used otherwise elsewhere. So you gotta weigh your options accordingly, I suppose. Ooh, we have a Fire Drake brood out in the field here. Intriguing. So the Goblin players going for their mini hero horde unit. Those should kick the ass of some Mordor orcs pretty easily. Those orc warriors will have no chance against these Fire Drakes. They'll do very, very small amount of damage to them. kYGo having guys all over his base. He's throwing down a Forge Works behind this mineshaft. It's actually a nice positioning for his buildings. Although there's just enough space for Belsebub to weasel his way in there. And unfortunately, he'll probably lose this mineshaft, which is a pretty crucial mineshaft for the Dwarves. It is the key to his tunnel network. These guys will come out, and of course they go right into here and pop out wherever they need to go. So that'll cut off his forward mines for now, which is unfortunate for him. There's a King Dane out in the field. For kYGo, who does have him in aggressive, probably doesn't need to. A lot of players tend to put their heroes in aggressive. I understand if you move your, or use your entire army and do it that way. I tend to press Q and just hit aggressive with them, like playing Goblins or Mordor or something. And it applies to your heroes if you forget to switch them back. But they do take a lot of extra damage when sometimes they don't need to. We have Boromir out in the field, and it looks like J2Shot is in a lot of trouble. Belsebub really needs to help his ally. Of course, in a 2v2v2, you have an ally, and if you lose your ally, you're pretty much screwed. So, I think Belsebub really needs to focus on what's important here. He's being very aggressive against the Dwarves, which is fair. He's been doing very well, but if his ally dies, of course, it'll be 2-on-1, possibly more, because the Men of the West will be done with that player there. And the Goblins and Dwarves could push up against him as well. That would be 3-on-1. And if Mordor wants to join in, hell. It's a regular gangbang at that point. Looks like we have a fight over the outpost here. Or right next to it, at least. Like, nobody's claimed this one, surprisingly enough. I guess the troll might have been killed off recently. But Mordor does have the position where he could clean this up. He is making the mistake of sitting here with his Rajam Lancers, though, attacking. They're not very good in that kind of respect. You really need to use them as charging units. And that goes for most cavalry. You want to use them to run through the enemy, not just sit there and fight. Because in prolonged melee, they tend to die a lot quicker. The Fire Drake Brood, of course, will make things very difficult here for Mordor. C12 is capturing the outpost. He's got it, so he'll at least benefit from that for a little bit. But it's only a matter of time before that's taken. And the inevitable counterattack against Belsebub between the Dwarves here. Dwarves actually pushing out quite fiercely. And a worm being summoned in from Black Mamba, his ally, doing a ton of damage, taking out majority of the buildings of the Hull of the King's men here. Looks like J2Shot has retreated back to his allies' base as well. We have summoned Rohan allies. Fort Kumul over there, cleaning up the rest of J2Shot's base, who's now building berserkers to help his ally. I think at this point, Belsebub is doomed. And as in turn, J2Shot as well. Undermine going down right underneath some of these orcs here. Now the Dwarves do have a gateway up here if he wants to send more guys through. He's rebuilt his mine there. Dwarves do need to keep sending men, though. He is running out of attackers. King Dane is here, though. And he does have a guitar. He has a guitar. No, he has a couple of battalions of guardians. What I was trying to say there. But there is direwolves. Not direwolves. Wargrider. Damn, I'm getting all my names wrong here. Warg Sentry. That's what I'm trying to say. A nice little defense. And of course he can retreat into his mine shaft when he needs to, which is pretty nice. So dwarves are looking to be in a good position now that Belsebub has been more or less stopped. And of course J2 Shot not in a good position whatsoever. And it looks like the Men of the West also benefiting from the marketplace, which of course is 12% on all his farms, so he's got to be making a good income there, which is always bad for the opposing team, as Men of the West have the potential to spam a lot of heroes. You really don't want that to happen, because once you get a Men of the West hero spam, it can be very hard to stop. Not only do they have a hero spam, but they're all pretty good in a way, except for the exception of a few. A couple of them. Eowyn and Faramir in particular. Faramir is okay, but I still think his wounding arrow is complete utter garbage in comparison to something like Brand's slam shot. But there you go. Dwarves have a nice setup here now. He could potentially go for upgrades if he wants to. Says he's not any direct harm. Belsebub and J2 Shot not out of the game yet, though. Belsebub does have a Morgamir out in the field. That should help him defend his base a little bit. And he does have a direwolf kennel and a couple arrow towers to help defend as well, but his fortress is very low in life, so he does have to be very careful. Very careful indeed. And now the Men of the West have secured the area here, so Kamul having a little outpost to attack Belsebub and J2 Shots with when he's ready. And of course he has more space to build farms and statues, and in turn getting tons and tons of resources and saving resources, because statues lower the cost of his soldiers, as you see there. Does it work on archers as well? It does. So there you go. He's saving a lot of money and he's gaining a lot of money, so he should have a ton. Actually, with him making so much money, he could be funneling money to C12. Yeah, he's at 830 command point limit. Black Mamba's at 800. Somebody went for Untamed Allegiance. C12 went for Untamed Allegiance. I think that was a very big mistake. Even if there is troll layers in this map, they're killed off so quickly, and they're not very defensible. That doesn't seem very reasonable, honestly. Oh yeah, the Men of the West have an outpost as well, so that's a thing. But it looks like the Men of the West attacking Angmar and Isengard here. A long shot going down, killing a fair amount of guys. Look at that, I called it a long shot. Instead of arrow volley. That's the first. It's because I stopped and thought about it for a second. I knew I was going to say it wrong. And then we have a warg pack as well. Not a cavalry unit, by the way. But it acts just like a warg. It has a howl ability. Just doesn't trample, I believe. I'm fairly certain they don't trample. I'm not positive. Let's see. Oh. They stopped and died, so it's hard to say. I'm fairly certain they don't trample. But they are fairly useful. They can be. You generally don't see them used too often, though. Big army of C12 Mordor orcs against a ton of goblins here from Black Mamba. He also has mountain giants and fire drake brood, so goblins should easily win this encounter. And of course, he is getting money per kill as well. He needs to get his fire drake brood out of there. Of course, if his ally builds a hearth, which he has actually, he could go heal those up. 3 mountain giants now. A worm being summoned in from C12 to stop some of these. Dwarves using a heal on the I think thought it was the dwarves. Thought he healed these. I don't know if you can heal those. Maybe. Looks like Belsebub is once again in trouble here. We have a Gloin and a King Dane. King Dane might be taken out though. Oh, and then a summoned orc right in the archer line. Looks like King Dane might get away though, unfortunately. Oh, he should have kept running, I think. Once the snowbind wears off though, if Gloin isn't taken out, he could get the fortress. Looks like there's enough orcs here though that are buffed. Should be able to take him out. Fell when being used, throwing Gloin into the fray, and he should be picked off by the fortress and the orcs there. And now the dwarves' attack has been repelled once again. We got Uruk Deathbringers out for J2 shot, which are super berserkers, of course, the little mini hero horde. Very strong unit. Unfortunately, they are being attacked by the Men of the West player Kamul over here, who does have a trebuchet, as well as a lot of archers. He's using Bombard, it looks like, to take out things over here. Bombard can be pretty useful. Can't remember to stop though. Yeah, there you go. And now I think Belsebub and J2 shot are probably dead. They were looking to push forward on the dwarves, but unfortunately for them, their base is in immediate threat. If they can't take out that trebuchet, they will lose the game. So I guess it's only a matter of time before that happens. Mordor continuing to push in against the goblins, who now has 2 fire drake broods. Oh dear. It still has 3 mountain giants. Goblins claiming the outpost, it looks like. Lots of Mordor orcs here, but they shouldn't... Or Mordor archers, orc archers. But they should be cleaned up fairly easily, I think, by the giants. He brought a drummer's roll, though, which of course will give leadership to all these orcs. And now, actually, Mordor's pushing forward. The only thing remaining is giants. So potentially, Goblin player is in trouble. So we'll see how Black Mamba deals with that. Looks like kYGo has a fair amount of Men of Dale here, as well as some phalanxes. And his ally has sent a giant this way. King Dane's still alive, level 4. And it looks like Belsebub's fort is gone. And I think this is the last 2 buildings of J2 shot, and that's the last building of Belsebub. So they should be finished off fairly shortly. Belsebub even has some Black Numenorians over here on the field. I think the Men of the West are in a strong position to win the game, though. With his strong army, he has the siege weapons with the upgrades. He's got himself a Faramir as well. Who is a useful hero, don't get me wrong. I just don't like his wounding arrow, is all. Otherwise, he's a pretty strong hero. And of course, he is the only archer hero for the Men of the West. And the dwarves and the Men of the West now sandwiching Belsebub to finish him off there. And now they'll begin engaging each other. Dwarves against men. We'll see who is victorious here. Undermine being thrown down here. A couple long shots going down. Not doing too much damage though. He does have his guys in a hold ground stance and they are buffed. So they take a very small amount of damage. That's the good thing about dwarves. Do they have armor as well? Yeah, they got dwarf mail as well. Heavily armored, fully buffed dwarves are very hard to stop. Sounds like we got a Balrog over here. Let's take a look. Black Mamba summoning a Balrog against Mordor. Using it to focus down a tower. And wasting a swing there. Could have just let him hit, but I guess not. Is he going to go for the fire breath on the fortress? Taking out these 2 catapults? That would probably be wise. Although right here as well would be good, stopping the orc spam. Looks like he does manage to get 2 of those. Now he'll begin working down these catapult expansions. Definitely a good option. And now if Mordor can't stop these mountain giants, they will take his fortress. His Men of the West ally trying to save him with some Rohan allies. Will that be enough? All it takes is 1 mountain giant to go into melee mode and hit stomp and all those horses will die. But things are looking desperately bad for C12 D13. So maybe the southern team actually poised to win the game, I think. Oh, we got an Army of the Dead summon. Looks like he's going to try and kill the Balrog off with that. Of course, this is a very useful power to kill off the Balrog. As you see, they take him down very quickly. The Mountain Giant's also being cleaned up, but unfortunately his base is in tatters. He has only a Rajan Palace and an Orc Pit to run off of. against a Goblin player who has a fully functional base. So it is only a matter of time before another wave of Goblins encroaches on his territory. And it looks like K'Mul is not exactly winning the fight over here, as kYGo summoning hobbits using the Vial of Galadriel from Frodo there, causing these units to flee. Looks like these ones didn't get affected though, for whatever reason. And now the Dwarves pushing in against the Men of the West. Dwarves need to get more guys up there though. He has a few battalions ready to go. Looks like Mordor is safe for now, but for how long, I wonder? As we see another horde of goblins coming in with a mountain giant and some fire drake broods still in tow. Even some half-troll marauders in there. Goblin player definitely, I would say, is going to be the winning factor in this game. The Dwarven player, of course, doing pretty much just as well. He doesn't have a huge army up here. He does have a Gimli, though, who's level 2. It looks like his Slayer's on cooldown, but he's level 2, meaning he doesn't even have access to it. Weird. But yeah, once the Dwarven player gets all his Dwarven heroes, then they'll be difficult to stop as well. Down goes a barrage from the Dwarves on top of K'Mul's army, pretty much leaving it in complete ruin, leaving 1 or 2 survivors. These Gondor archers are level 5, and this Ithilien Ranger level 4. If you can get them out of there, they will start respawning. Of course, getting them next to a well will make them respawn faster. Looks like he's not going to get him out of there. That's kind of a costly mistake. Would have been a lot of money saved. And a worm summon from C12 as a defensive mechanism here, trying to save his base. Fire Drake's picking up the builder there. So they're up to level 5, they can go up to level 10, of course. Once they get level 7, they get the Inferno, just like a regular Fire Drake does, which is very destructive. And down goes one of the Goblin or Orc pits. C12 now only has 1 Orc pit, and his Horizon Palace probably has no economy as well. Let's take a look. K'Mul, the Men of the West player. His economy is doing very well. Sounds like his heroes are dying though. Black Mamba doing very well as well. He's at 1,000 command point limit, 600 of it used. C12 is at 575, and he's only at 25 used, meaning he... I think he has this guy and he's bugged out. He's been running back and forth here the entire game. I did hear a summon worm, I thought. Or maybe it was despawning. Oh, looks like we got a forward fissure from Black Mamba here. But unfortunately, there's not much left in the way of defense for Mordor. He has 1 catapult expansion, but that is gone now. And now there's nothing to stop the mountain giants from pelting his fortress with rocks. So let's go up here and watch the dwarves and men fight it out. Well, team having fairly strong armies, it looks like. Oh, but we have a worm summon from Black Mamba. That's going to clean up majority of the Men of the West army. Looks like his fire breath didn't manage to do much there. Boromir's level 6. He has leadership ability, which is nice. Of course, he's got his Horn of Gondor, which can be very useful. But King Dain does have the resistance to the Horn of Gondor. Grants all nearby allies resistance to fear and terror, which is the Horn of Gondor does that. So, as long as he has King Dain around, the Horn of Gondor is useless against the dwarves. Just shows how useful King Dain is against the Men of the West. Something to keep in mind. Of course, he has all of the strong Dwarven heroes. He's all the Dwarven heroes in general, actually. He even has Prince Bran there. Once Gimli gets level 5, he will start kicking lots and lots of ass with his Slayer ability. And now with the worm's support, dwarves should push forward and make a lot of headway there. And as we see, this is probably the last building of C12D13. Nope, not quite. He's probably built in his allies' base somewhere. Yeah, he's got a couple buildings in the back of K'Mul's base. But soon they will have dwarves knocking on their doorstep. Well, I guess they already do. I guess this would be his doorstep. Worm using the horn, as you see. Not doing anything. Actually stunned these guys, surprisingly enough. Where's King Dain? I don't see King Dain, that's probably why. Because he's out of there. Wow, Gloin is very close to death. Look, Where's that Glenn? Yeah, Glenn is basically dead at this point. Oh, we even got some Dwarven Zealots. The mini Gimlis, as I like to refer to them. Kumul putting up a good fight. He's putting up a good defense. It's kind of hard to break lots of Ithilien Rangers with catapults support. Fortunately, though, he's going to have an attack from the south to deal with. Darkness being thrown down by Black Mamba, a Goblin player, and now he is going to attack with Mountain Giants support. One of them having the Ring of Power, which of course does not benefit it in any way, but still kind of funny. Thinking of a giant having Sauron's ring. And the Fire Drake Brood, of course, would be very destructive. But they die fairly quickly to the Ithilien Rangers, especially with the leadership, so you just need to be a bit careful. We have Aragorn out in the field. He's level 1, though. He's in hold ground stance to get an armor buff, but he does move slower in hold ground stance. But it might be worth it, I'd say. He's going to need him to last as long as possible, as you would expect. And of course, Goblin's going to need to take advantage of the time he's under darkness. Going to need to send everything he has while he has his time with this giant buff. Darkness is a very good buff. Ooh, geez, Dwarves using Earthquake on Kumul's base. kYGo opting to destroy everything. Looks like he actually didn't get this. It's barely alive. That's about as barely alive as you can get. The barracks almost about to fall as well. Fortress took very little damage though. And lots of units on the field on the screen right here. Actually causing me frame rate issue a little bit. Shouldn't be too bad. And down goes that and that. The barracks and the archer range going down. And now the Dwarves and Goblins pushing in, looking to end this game once and for all, it looks like. The only thing remaining is actually this Fortress of Kumul and a couple of structures back here. So it's looking like the Dwarf player kYGo and his ally Black Mamba, the Goblin player, are going to win this game fairly easily. They're under no threat whatsoever. Can Aragorn save his people? Somehow I think not. Did the wounding arrow actually make the giant flee, or did he move him back? I can't tell. Seems like whenever I use that, it never actually makes him flee. And there's a Balrog, someone from Black Mamba, looking to finish off the last team here. And with an armed, destructive army of dwarves, they should do it easily. There you go, Kumul's been defeated. And now C12D13, the last remaining player, has one orc bit. Balrog going to finish this off in fashion. Okay, he's not dead. Where is C12's last building? Oh, there it is. Looks like Goblins do know where it is. There it is. Game over. Looks like Goblins and Dwarves are the victors. So well played to kYGo and Black Mamba. But well played to everyone in that match, of course. Good match to watch. I always enjoy a good 2v2v2, and I will tend to cast most of them if I find a replay for them, but like I said, they're not very frequent. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next cast of the Rise of the Witch King patch 2.02. See you guys next time.